Hi, I'm Dave Wolford, and you're listening to Driving the Future, the official podcast from Continental Express. Each month, I get joined by fellow drivers, operations staff, shop personnel, and we get to share stories and tips on all things about truck driving. I'm Dave. I'm here with Dan Kleman, and he is one of our owner-operators, a long-term driver with the company. Started out driving a company truck and transitioned into owner operating, and that is what we're going to focus on today, just the difference between the two and the transition. So we'll kick it off. Dan, how long have you been with Continental?
Oh boy, total, I started in November of 2006. I quit for about a month and a half or so in 2019 and came back. I should have never left. I don't know why I left. But
I was going to say,
came
after
back.
13 years, wow.
Yeah, you think, But anyways, I came back, and I don't have any intentions of leaving, ever again until I retire.
Me either. No. Okay, very good. Yeah, so we've both been long-term drivers. Now, the difference is I've always just been a company driver. You started out as a company driver, and then at some point said, hey, I want to be an owner-operator, and you made that happen. Can you kind of give us just a bullet point of the process of that, how you came to that?
Oh, it's been kind of off and on for a long, long time. You think about it, put it on the back burner, think about it some more, and I just like getting in on Thursday nights. I take off on Saturdays, get in on Thursday nights, and by the time Thursday night comes around, I just want to be done with it. I want to go home. But it got to the point where I just, you get to a stage in your life where I wanted just a little bit more out of it.
Okay.
And I wanted to have a new challenge, and it just, my fiance, she encouraged me to just take the plunge and just do it. You'll never be happy unless you just do it.
Yeah, okay.
So,
now that being said, how long have you been an owner operator compared to, how long were you with us as a company driver, and how long have you been with us as an owner operator?
From 2006 up until the very last day of December of 2021. January 1st was the very first day and the first trip out of 22.
Oh, okay.
As an owner-operator. Wow. My sister encouraged me, to wait until January to start officially as an owner-operator. She does my taxes for me. She pointed out it's much better doing it that way.
If you do this on December 31st, I got a lot more work to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just works so much better just starting off just with a clean slate, brand new year and everything.
Yeah.
So, but I bought the truck in October of 21, and it was just it was a bit of a process getting to the truck, because I thought about buying a brand new truck, but I was told that first time truck buyer would probably pay upwards of 10% interest rate on it. I just I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
And the cost of a brand new truck is just so up there.
What are they running for brand new trucks? Out of a dealership?
Brand new trucks. What they was quoting me, I was looking at getting a brand new Mac, and it was a price tag of about $160.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a house.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing of it was because COVID was, still lingering,
the
lingering effects of COVID, and the production of parts and trucks and things like that
really slowed way.
It slowed things down. It put a monkey wrench into the whole truck buying process. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things where I had to come up and drop $10,000 non-refundable deposit on the truck, and it'd be probably about a year or so before I would get the truck.
Oh wow! So going to a dealership and buying it out.
Oh yeah, I just couldn't buy a truck.
It just wasn't.
I could not buy a brand new truck and walk on a dealership and just walk off the lot with a brand new truck, financed or anything.
Wow!
It was just
you were going to walk
really
on a
bizarre.
dealership, drop a bunch of money, they'd make you a bunch of promises, and we'll see you next year.
Right.
Wow. So you decided? Well, did you just talk to Russ and say, "Hey, I want to buy a truck"?
Oh, I talked to Doug more than anything.
Oh, okay. So you were able to go through Doug. Doug is our shop manager here, Doug Subder, at the Sydney terminal. So.
And I talked to him about it, and I'm of the impression that, well, if I didn't drive the truck myself, I probably wouldn't want to buy it.
Okay.
Because I thought if I was going to buy a truck from Continental, it would be my, something that I drove and I knew all the ins and outs.
Something you were familiar
with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just I like the Freightliners. They're okay and everything like that, but I wanted something different. So I wanted a Kenworth, but I just didn't get that. I ended up getting a Mack.
Okay, so you did get the Mack.
Yeah.
And then you got it through Doug.
No, I bought it out on my own. I bought it from a place down in London, Ohio, just outside of Columbus.
Okay.
Went down there and just drove past one day. I was like, I see that truck right there. Just pull off and take a look at it. So took a look at it, and the salesman wasn't around, but I left my name and number and everything like that. He got back with me, and he told me how much it was and stuff like that. Can I come by sometime next week and check it out some more? And I took it out for a test drive, and it's just like, yep, that's it. This is my truck.
Okay. So you didn't have to put a bunch of money down and wait a year? But you didn't have to do a year wait and all that?
No, nothing like that. I put money down, and I came back the following week and bought it.
So it was pretty smooth.
It was pretty swift, pretty quick.
Okay.
But, that was the beginning of just a long process of dealing with other stuff. There's other things like the IRP, International Registration Plan, the cab card that you have in your registration. Yeah, that's the process right there. You got to fill out an application, and it's got to be approved, and it takes a while to get through all that.
Okay. So now you were driving for Continental as a driver, and now you bought your own truck.
And I bought my own truck, yeah.
And now you're still under Continental's authority. You still drive for Continental, but you own the truck.
I own the truck, yeah.
So do you have a dispatcher, or do you
John Ziegenbusch. Yeah.
Okay, so they're still finding loads for you now.
Oh, yeah.
So you went from just mileage, getting paid so much per mile, to getting paid
percentage. Right.
Which do you prefer? Which
percentage.
Is it much more lucrative? Well, of course, since
is.
you own the truck, you've got more overhead.
With an owner-operator, it works opposite as opposed to company drivers. Company drivers, it's all about that big miles, making all those miles and everything like that. For an owner-operator, it's all about the short stuff.
Shorter hauls?
The shorter hauls are the better ones. Shipping to receiving, if you shorter the distance, the better off it is.
Oh, okay. Now, why is that?
It's just time, more time involved in it and stuff like that. Yeah, you got to, if you pay more to get them to come over there to get that load, plus the deadhead, you got to factor in all the deadhead. Deadhead, I don't get paid anything. I'm burning my own fuel. Yeah,
you're burning your own fuel. Yeah.
So you got to figure in how much you got to deadhead around to get to the short loads and stuff like that. Plus, he's got to drop trailers and stuff like that at these short, places that have short freight. So, he's going to charge a little bit more for the short hauls. The rates are a little higher on the short hauls.
Okay. And so you had talked about getting a cab card. So now do you have to get all the permits and all the fees and all the registrations?
Yeah, that's all in that cab card.
Okay, so you got to pay for that. Now, that's not like with me, the company. I get a permit book. It's all in there. They have paid it. But as an owner operator, you are responsible for all that.
I am responsible for all that. Yep.
Okay. Is that and you said it's a lengthy process. Is it a huge cost to do all that? Is it?
Yeah, it's prorated, depending on when you start in the year. It just depends on what they bill you, what they're going to charge you at the IRP. Mm-hmm. Now, in March, that's when my renewal is up. So every March, I have to renew that for the entire year. Leslie, the office, the lady in the office here that takes care of my mileages and stuff like that, she processes all my settlements, I think.
Okay.
But she'll give me a breakdown of all the mileages from state to state. That's another one of the things that, Continental does do. They'll keep track of all the mileages from one state to the other.
Oh, okay. Now, why do they? Does that make a difference for an owner-operator?
Oh, yeah. It's something I don't have to keep track of.
But why do they keep track?
Why do they? For the road taxes.
Fuel taxes,
road taxes. Yeah, the road taxes.
So if you're an owner-operator, like, you're going to pay so much road tax for Ohio, but you go to Indiana, you could pay more or less. It could be a different percentage.
It all depends on how many miles you run in the States and everything like that. And it gets adjusted on a quarterly basis. I pay for, every drop of fuel I put in my truck, obviously. But out of what I buy on the road, I pay road taxes
Okay.
at the pump though too. And at the end of every quarter, whatever there's a deficit that's not paid to either one state or the other, it's all adjusted on a quarterly basis. If I don't pay enough at the pump, then at the end of the quarter I have to put the bill.
Okay, so it's kind of
it gets taken automatically out of the settlement on a quarterly basis for that.
okay, so it's kind of like taxes. If you pay too much taxes in federal through the year, you get a refund.
Right.
But if you don't pay enough, then you got you're the IRS.
Right.
It's kind of, and that's done on a quarterly basis. So 4 times a year, you've got to even up that.
Yeah, you got to come. You got to take care of that on a quarterly basis. So.
Okay, it's so. Like, do you have I know you had mentioned at one point a fuel surcharge or
right.
maintenance. What exactly does that mean? What like? I know what happens to me when I go to the truck stop and I fuel.
Right.
But the company's paying for it, so I get a receipt and drive away, no big deal.
Right.
What's a fuel surcharge? How does that work for an owner-operator?
Fuel surcharge is what Continental bills the customer. It varies as far as per mile. I don't know how much one shipper will pay more fuel surcharge compared to another shipper.
Okay.
I've noticed that. I can't tell you right off the bat what this one pays compared to what that one pays, but I do know it fluctuates up and down on a weekly basis. I mean, I can look at the same load, the same shipper, week after week after week, and the fuel surcharge will go up and down. It's all tied to the fuel prices.
Okay. So basically, are they covering the cost of the fuel when you get paid for the load? Is that covering your fuel cost or?
I still have to put some of the fuel out of my pocket outside of the fuel surcharge. I get most of it back, but not quite all of it.
Not all. Okay.
I get 90% of the surcharge what they bill the customer.
Okay.
So that's how that works. They keeps 10% to cover the cost of reefer. The reefer.
Yeah,
fuel.
you got reefer fuel.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But I know I don't recover all of it in the surcharge.
So they pay so much per mile or per gallon to do this load, and the shipper receiver pays it at the settlement.
They pay it however they pay it. I don't know, all the ins and outs of how they bill the customers and the contracts and everything like that. What they got set up with different shippers, but some pay more, some pay less. I guess it just all depends on the shipper.
Okay, and so I know every week with Continental being a company driver, I get a paycheck.
Right.
You get the same? I mean, you still just get a paycheck every
I still get
week?
the same thing. I still get the same settlements and stuff like that, as we always did and things like that. It's just I don't have like any kind of benefits or anything like that, like insurance deductions or nothing like that. I have there's no deductions other than I get a satellite rental fee every week. And if I bought fuel here or if I bought fuel on the road and used the Condata card, then that would be deducted out of my settlement.
Okay.
But I paid for my own fuel with my own fuel card. I just, they don't have to reimburse me for any of the fuel or nothing like that. But,
And you said you don't have benefits or so like
No.
medical, dental, vision?
None of that.
Can you get that through Continental being an owner operator, or do you
so.
you have to go through like an independent contractor?
I would have to go through an independent insurance company or something.
Yeah.
I've never had anything offered to me or anything like that, and it's probably just as well being that that I get paid on a percentage. You got to figure what you get paid, that comes out of that percentage to cover your insurance costs.
Yes.
So by me going on percentage, that I make out better that way. What I was going to have spent on insurance, I just put in my pocket. So
Okay. So, but that's something good to know if you got drivers that are thinking about becoming owner operators. Hey, the 401k, the medical, dental, all the benefits. It's on them as an owner operator to provide.
Right.
Because in a sense, you're your own company.
Exactly.
And you're just subcontracting through Continental, so to speak.
Exactly. And that's another thing. You can stay just a regular driver, but as far as me being an owner operator, I thought it'd be best to be as LLC. And I've heard other guys say that before. You just limit your liability and things.
Yeah.
And that way, it's just a liability thing. That in the event of an accident, you don't get everything taken away from you.
You're not going to get sued for $10 million.
Right.
You got a limited liability.
Limit the liability
because you don't own 50 trucks and hire on 49 drivers. You've got one truck, and it's. That's your thing,
right? And that's another thing. The insurance, the insurance on the truck comes out of your own pocket too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So another thing that I've noticed over the years is like a lot of our company trucks. After so many miles, you get a new truck.
Yeah.
It's new. You might have a little thing here, little thing there the first year or so, but after a couple of years, there's something else here.
Right.
There's a glitch here. By the time you've had it for 4 or 5 years, they're starting to wear out.
Yeah.
And you go from the first few years having almost zero maintenance to all of a sudden you can't keep the thing out of the shop. Now,
right.
How do you handle that as far as an owner operator? I'm not asking for your personal finances or anything, but is that something where do you mentally think, okay, hey, let me take X amount and put it aside for maintenance fees? Or
Not really. No, I operate out of just one bank account. And I really don't, budget for that. I just, I just deal with it as it comes along, and most of it, I deal with myself. If there's something wrong with the truck, a lot of times I'll take it home and work on it, myself out in the driveway.
Okay, so you do a lot of your own maintenance.
Right.
Now, have you had Continental or the shop here do maintenance, and how is that handled?
Oh yeah, I've had them work on it. Putting on like coolant lines, steel coolant lines. I had Brian work on it once, and I do a lot of as far as like the oil changes, I'll do them myself here.
Okay.
I asked Doug if I can do it, and he's fine with it. Just bring the truck in and just change the oil and filters and all that stuff.
But they like if you have them actually perform maintenance here, do they charge you so much for the part and so much for an hour labor?
That's the thing. They don't have parts here for it, being that
it's
a Mac.
because it's a Mac. True.
Yeah,
That's
there's
true.
just very limited things they can do to that truck here.
True.
If I bring the parts to them, they if they have the time, that's the thing. This company is just so many trucks coming through the shop all the time that just. It's hard to catch them on an off day to where they got time to do it. Usually they're just so slammed out there that
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm like if somebody's considering owner operating,
right?
How the shop works with that.
It's you still got to pay. You still got to pay for like the hourly wage. The hourly rate that Doug charges out here, and I don't even know what he's charging now, but it's a lot less than what they're charging at a dealership.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I have no idea what it is either, but I imagine it'd be a lot cheaper.
Right.
And then the parts are just what the parts are. They cost what they cost.
It's definitely not cheap. And
So-
you definitely don't want to get parts off of Amazon.
Yeah. Now, do you have a trailer as well, or you just have the truck?
Just the truck.
Okay. Are you ever thinking that you might want to buy your own trailer at any point?
No desire to ever buy a trailer.
No,
Because what I see these trailers go through,
Yeah.
they go through a lot.
Yeah. And it doesn't take long for them to go through it either.
Oh yeah, the forklift drivers going in there and putting gashes in the walls and everything like that. And,
Yep.
they're just like, nah. I think I'll just let them deal with the trailer expense. So
Wow.
that's the one thing I don't have to worry about anything with the trailer at all. So that's a good thing.
All right. So I mean, as far as like a normal run for you, is it pretty much the same? You get somewhere, you get a load, you get your bill of lading, you get to the other end, they sign it, and and you're still turning paperwork in.
Yeah.
Like paperwork wise, it's pretty much normal.
It's just the same as it always has. It's the same as it always been.
And then at the end of the year, you've got to. What kind of things do you have to track and keep track of for like tax? Like you said, your sister
taxes.
Like your sister does your taxes. So how do you set that up?
Okay, now with the taxes, you don't have to. I mean, if you want stuff to be wrote off on your taxes, keep track of all your expenses. Fuel, if it's related to the truck, like stationary pens, If you buy a computer, if you buy a printer, if you buy printer paper, that's that's dealing with the trucking stuff like that. Write it off. You got to turn your receipts in. Just keep all your receipts. I don't have to turn in your receipts or anything like that to my sister. I just got to keep track of what I spent throughout the year.
Yeah.
Give her the totals and everything like that, and she just puts in all the numbers and that's it.
All right.
So
And then, so now, did you make payments on your truck, or did
No.
you paid it off?
I bought it on
Just boom. Okay.
Boom.
What do you think about it? Do you think, for somebody that's, not everybody's got a big chunk of money to go buy a truck.
Right.
What do you think? You think it's better to do a lease program? Do you think it's better to make payments on a truck through a dealership? Or do you think if they're considering this transition, they do like you did, they just run with the company and save their money, and once they've got, okay, I got this, let me go buy a truck.
Right.
I
would strongly recommend doing it that way. Just the way I did it. Just save the money up and just have that payment paid off. You won't have to worry about it because this business is so cyclical. I mean, it goes up and down, and you get busy, and then all at once you get slow, and then if you got that big truck payment, and you got a house payment, you got all kinds of bills at home to deal with,
and kids,
and kids, and all the other stuff. It's not going to be very good. It makes for a really hard way of going at it.
Yeah, it's just it's almost like it sounds like it'd almost just be like another house payment on top of a house payment.
It really is. It's like buying a house. It's exactly what it is.
Wow.
So
if you've got the means to be able to get by and build a nest egg up, in your opinion, drive company wide for however long and just save up, and then just try to just do it.
Yeah.
So, okay. I have talked to several people over the years that did those lease programs through some companies, and I've never felt comfortable with that scenario. I've always felt like they were scams. I've talked to several people that went into that thing, and it did not end well for them.
Yeah, I don't know all the ins and outs of lease, but I mean, I don't know if there's like any kind of a balloon payment at the end of a lease that you got to deal with, or to break away from this thing. I mean, if you can just walk away from it, a clean break, and not have to think about it, go from one truck to another truck, I guess it'd be an okay thing.
Yeah, I've heard so many horror stories. I've never heard a good story where somebody went into that and actually came out the other end and, hey, I own my truck, woohoo! It's never happened. I've always steered clear of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've come into the industry. I've been offered that stuff from other companies. I've had them call and say, hey, when do you want to own your own truck? And I've just I've never had the desire to own the truck. I'm like, I don't have a problem driving it, and I love driving for Continental, but I'd rather just be a company driver. At what point did you get to that? I mean, did you always want to be an owner-operator, or was there just at some point where you just went, man, I really would rather... And you just transitioned?
I sat on the fence long enough to where it got to the point where it's just like, let's just try it. Let's just do it. Just jump into it and let's do it.
And see,
I don't want to look back years from now. It's like, I just should have done it.
It's hey, I'm 70 years old, I'm ready to retire, and man, I could have bought a truck 30 years ago. I wish I would have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I kick around all kinds of ideas, even that, just like say Landstar or something like that. I just get on YouTube and I'll watch somebody, that works for Landstar, and I look at that and it's just like, I don't think I want to do that. Pick and choose my own loads, because why do that? I just rather let somebody else just book the loads here and stuff like that. I get taken care of pretty good here. So
they're really good people, and I've heard a lot of owner operators are struggling right now with the freight shortage and cheap freight, and you being leased on the Continental as an owner operator, you're still doing very well, and you're not slowing down at all. So
I have no problem letting them just
Okay.
handle it. So
So as far as your experience, rather than going out on your own and trying to find a broker and trying to find loads,
exactly.
get with a good company that you can trust and
Exactly.
rely on, and let them feed you the loads.
Right,
That's
yeah.
a good. Okay.
Yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever. I've been doing real good here. So, even as a company driver, I've just always had a real good relationship with Continental.
Okay.
So,
Now let me ask you this: since you've been an owner operator, have you taken vacation?
I take vacation when I want to. That's the one thing that took a little bit to get my mind around that concept of just being able to just whenever I want to. It's like, okay.
Yeah, of course, whatever you can afford to, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, but that's why I was worried. It's like, that's what I've always thought. Man, I get it. If I bought a truck and then had that payment, because I wouldn't have the money to be able to just buy a truck. But
Right.
wow, then they say, well, you can go on vacation or take days off, whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, but when would I be able to afford it? But you're saying you're able to you're able to be done on Thursday, go out on Saturday or Sunday, and you're still going on vacation. So you're doing. So this has been a really good experience.
It really has. Other than maintenance things that happens with the truck, it's just. That's a whole other story there too.
But you're gonna have. I mean, that's you've got running parts. You got maintenance.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
It'll about make you cry sometimes when you get on a truck.
Yeah. I've seen been at truck stops and stuff, and I've seen some of these guys' bills for what they did, or some they advertise, hey, get DOT ready here, and I see some of the prices they charge just to do basic, just.
And that's the thing, when you go to the truck stops, they're oriented to sell you a job.
Yes.
Something isn't right. All them tires are looking little on the thin side. You might need brakes are looking a little thin too. Whereas here, DOT, the shop will do the DOT inspection here for you.
Okay. So if you got
that's a requirement for leasing on here. The truck has to pass DOT inspection through here.
So they're not going to gouge you for anything like it. So it's very beneficial to stay with a solid company, even as an owner operator, rather than trying to run independent and trying to do it all on your own.
I have no problem with it, staying right here as an owner operator, because I've kicked the ideas around with other things and stuff like that, going out and getting my own authority, and it's just like, why even bother? I don't want to mess with that kind of stuff. So, if you go to some far away place and then the rates aren't that good out there, or load cancels or something, there you're stuck trying to figure out.
You're stuck trying to find out where I go from here. Now, let me ask you this: as an owner operator. So you get DOT'd. I'm assuming the paperwork and everything is pretty much the same as what we got to show them. But you get a violation. Does Continental or does a company help you with that?
No.
Or I mean, as far as you turn the paperwork in and say, hey, I got DOT'd, is that 100% on you to just handle?
You still got to turn that in for the CSA scores, because I operate under their authority.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's the way it goes. Any kind of violations and things like that still has to go back to them. But as far as like any kind of out of service for mechanical and stuff like that, I gotta make a phone call and call somebody out there to fix my truck and stuff like that, and gotta pay the bill.
Yeah, but as far as like any tickets, violations, or anything, you just cover that. You just gotta let Continental know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, because it's still you're still under their authority, and it still goes under their CSA and everything. I'm assuming that's how it all works.
I would think so.
I would think so too.
Okay. So so how much now you own your own truck, and you started doing this, you said beginning of 2022?
2022, yes.
So how long do you see yourself driving for? I mean, hypothetically, how long would you like to see yourself going?
Oh, me and my fiance, we kick around ideas about retiring like 5 to 10 years, something like that. So early retirement, maybe at 60.
Right. So you don't have any plans to say buy another truck? Like if this one gets so old, the miles get way up there.
Oh, I'm all the time looking at other trucks.
Okay. But okay, so Yeah, how does that go? Is it just like trade? Is it just like taking your car into a
It's like
dealership
taking a
and
car
going,
in,
"Hey,
yeah,
give me so much for this, and I'll
right,
buy
yeah.
this"? That's how that works.
Pretty
Okay.
much, yeah. You just walk in there, and it's like just like the car dealership. We'll give you this much for it, and this is how much. This is one here it costs. You do a little bit of talking and
Haggling,
haggling and stuff like that. But this truck I got here is a pretty good, solid truck, and I'm pretty happy with it. And it's one of those things that we talk about in the truck all the time. As far as I already got everything already taken care of with this truck as far as maintenance wise, as much as foreseeable.
As you can handle,
as I can handle, and it don't look like anything's going to major happen for quite some time. It's got a lot of life left in it, so
okay, and let's hope it doesn't. But
right.
But like you said, if something does happen, as an owner operator, you're kind of left to your own devices far as, hey, I need to get a wreck right here. Hey, where do I get this thing towed to get it fixed?
Right.
How much is that going to cost?
Right.
And then of course, while you're broke down, getting towed and waiting to get fixed, you're also not running loads.
Right.
So it kind of hits you at both ends of the pocket.
It does.
Or is that? I mean, how do you overcome that hurdle? I mean, you could have
a lot of money in the bank.
So you just want to make sure you build up enough capital to kind of go, okay.
You definitely got to have money in the bank to operate out here. You can't operate by the seat of your pants and expect to make it, because it's just at any given time the truck can break down, and then like you said, you just got to get towed, and as soon as you get towed, you got to pay that bill.
Yeah, they want the money right there.
Right,
and then of course getting it fixed, we're not giving you your truck back till you pay the bill.
Right.
So just for the guys out there that may be considering something like this, in your opinion, how much do you think they should have set aside over and above the normal everyday expenses of the truck? Like what kind of a nest egg, or let's say emergency fund?
Emergency, well, let's just put it this way: an overhaul, rebuilding an engine and everything like that can upwards of 20 to 30 grand, with labor and all that stuff.
But that's kind of one of those where you're not really thinking you're going to have to overhaul an engine when you buy a truck.
Yeah, you hope not.
Yeah. So realistically, somebody starting out, how much do you think they should put aside for emergencies?
I would say just it depends on how far you got to have the truck towed, but I would say a good 5 to 10 grand. Just set off to the side just to make sure make sure, because you're going to have slow weeks. As far as liability with accidents, you got to deal with your own truck for the accidents and everything like that. Obviously, that's one of the cons. A lot of these things we kind of touched on already here. The use of the camera. I got a camera in the truck. That was an option. The company provided the camera. I put it in there for me, so they have a link to the camera. Which is good. It can also be a bad thing though too.
In my experience, in my opinion, I think the camera was a good move.
It was.
It's scary that you gotta worry that somebody might be, what are they watching?
That was always the thing,
But at the same time, it's kind of like, what? When those really weird, goofy things happen, I'm glad I got a camera, so they don't think I'm making up a goofy story.
Your word against theirs.
Yeah, it protects you so much.
Right.
But go over some of your pros and cons as like some of the things if we haven't touched on, because I'm curious.
The percentage, that's definitely a big plus here. I wouldn't want to be a mileage rate. There's some companies that pay miles loaded or empty. Even as owner operators, and you really don't want the deadhead. So, but on a percentage basis, you make out a lot better. I seem to think so, because whatever they make, you get percentage of what they charge. So if they get higher rates, then obviously I get a bit
you get a higher percentage,
right.
Okay.
But with the inflation and everything like that, I don't think it's really quite kept up with the inflation. Fuel surcharge, the fuel surcharge goes up and down with the fuel prices, but I think it's kind of a tight market out there right now, and it seems like trying to get the rates up there is a little bit of a challenge for them. I think.
Well, and you got to kind of look at it. They've said that the rate of inflation over the last year and a half or so has outpaced everything by so much more than they expected.
Right.
So nobody expected this to go for as long as it's going, and it's drastic, which is probably why. So I would assume at some point it's going to even out, or it's going to get.
Yeah.
It's you're not going to be chasing that all the time. I think at some point it's going to plateau.
Yeah, it just how it is.
So what's some of the pros as far as?
As far as you get to pick your own truck. Whatever truck you want. If you can swing the payments, that can be your truck. They have no issues about whatever truck you want to buy. It's whatever
whatever brand,
whatever brand you want,
make, model. Okay.
Yeah, there's no. Well, the only real requirement they have is 5 years or newer. They don't want anything from the time you lease on 5 years or newer. Now after that, all bets are off. You can just keep the truck for however long you want to keep it.
Okay. So you get to pick your own truck. You get to go on vacation whenever you want, or you can set your week. Hey, I'm gonna be home Thursdays and leave on Saturdays.
Right.
Or
which is another thing.
Yeah, and I need next Tuesday off. Oh well. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't have to get too far in advance, but you give them like a week or so in advance to let them know. Hey, I need to be in such and such and stuff like that. And hey, all right.
So you've got a lot more freedom of choice.
You do
here and there. But then you've also got a lot more overhead to worry about, and you got to balance that.
Right.
You got to make sure I can take vacation whatever you want, but you want to make sure you can afford it too.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay. Do you have any closing thoughts? Let's say these guys out here, somebody's watching this right now and thinking, "Man, I've been a company driver for 5-10 years. I'm thinking about buying a truck." What would you say to them right now?
What you want to do, if you want to buy your own truck, is set yourself up as an LLC, obviously, to limit your liability.
Yeah, kind of protect yourself.
All the vendors that you deal with for buying parts, the dealerships and whatever else, go in there and set up like either a cash account, whatever account you want, but get tax exempt papers filled out to where you don't have to pay sales tax.
Nice. Okay.
So
I did not know that was an option.
Right. Yeah. You have to you have to fill out the proper paperwork, but you don't have to pay any sales tax if you do that.
Oh.
So
I'd be filling out some paperwork.
That's right. Oh yeah.
I didn't.
Everywhere you buy stuff for the truck, Amazon. You can do a business account on Amazon if you want, but I very rarely ever buy anything off of Amazon for anything truck related.
Yeah.
So I bought some parts for the truck that kind of came back and burned me. In the end for it, I ended up having to have the truck towed because it wasn't the right parts. They were cheap knockoff parts, and it's just.
Yeah. You order stuff off the internet. You don't really know what's showing up till the box gets there.
Exactly. And you think it's the same. It's the same part. No, it's not the same part.
Yeah.
It looks like it, but it's not.
And I would, in my opinion, and I'm just speculating because I'm not an owner operator, but that would probably be my biggest con about being an owner operator. Of what's always probably scared me the most is just the maintenance costs, the upkeep, and I've seen how often these trucks can break down and how often they need attention. And
in your own experience, which is what what they have to deal with,
Yeah, and I'm going. There's been times where I've had my truck in the shop 2 times, 3 times a week.
Yeah,
and I'm going, oof,
Yeah.
So That would be my final thing. Is that would be something.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. That's
for
sure.
You really want to make sure if you're going to do this, you talk to a lot of owner operators, talk to some people, and get your ducks in a row.
That's right. I just learned from the owner operators that's worked here. I just learn from them, learn from their mistakes, what they did wrong, and what not to do, and what they do right, stuff like that.
And you said like you went through Doug and talked to Doug. Was he instrumental in helping you out through the process? Or?
Oh, he gave me a little bit of advice as far as like buying a truck. Buy something that's fairly new that has warranty on it and things like that. But I never took it. I just bought a truck as is. I just bought it as is, and they offered me extended warranty for X amount of dollars, and I thought about it. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'll roll the dice
and hope it works.
Hope it works. Yeah. Stuff like that. Because there's always catches to every little thing. Extended warranty. We told you it was for this and that and the other, but we don't cover this and we don't cover that.
Yeah, that's only covered if the wheels are square. Your wheels are round. Didn't you read the fine print?
Every little thing. So I never sign on with those extended warranties for anything.
Well, most of the time they say with those extended warranties and extended warranties, if you take that money and put it off the side, invest it, or whatever, that you've got the capital, like you said, the emergency fund to maintain
and deal with it.
You're going to be further ahead down the road than if you bought that warranty and only used it didn't use it at all, or only use it once. Or twice.
If you don't use it at all, then what?
You just gave them free money, which is what that's really.
It really is. It really is.
But I have also heard of people getting bit in the rear because they didn't get a warranty. So it's a two-way street. So
exactly, and that's the thing. You go to buy a truck, you want to really know what you're looking for and what to watch out for.
Very good.
Take a good look at it.
So, any final closing thoughts, and then we'll wrap this up.
Well, all I can say is that it's a good company to work for as far as owner operator, and I got just make sure you have a good relationship with them, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, good. I think that's solid advice. I think you going from a company driver to an owner operator, a good bit of that transition and success is because you've got the backing of the company. I think that's very important for people to know. Like you said, that would run under their own authority. It's a lot different of a ball game at that point. So, well, thank you, Dan. Thanks for your time. And again, I'm Dave. This is Dan Kleman, owner operator and long-term driver here at Continental Express. Thanks for joining us.